For our first leader, we picked a cinema leader, Nelson Mandela, from the film Invictus. In this film, Nelson Mandela shows transformational leadership by providing guidance and motivation, and he does this by inspiring his followers to achieve a shared goal. He also demonstrates goal seeking and envisionment, which means he encourages his followers to fight for peace and is also capable of knowing what is right for his people and his country. These things are important for transformational leadership because it demonstrates that he is capable of knowing what is right for his people and also providing that motivation and inspiration to them to be able to achieve that shared goal. Nelson Mandela also in the film demonstrates adaptive leadership. He does this by being able to adapt to changes. These changes, it's not just him, but also his followers that are going through it. And it is pretty effective because he is being that example for his followers, saying that his followers are not going through the changes alone. He is going through them too. And he's being that example by providing that help and aid for his followers. He is also able to successfully handle tough and sudden situations that his followers were going through during those sudden changes. And he was able to provide some information and also inform them how this could be a good thing and that things happen for a reason, and basically look at the good side of these changes.
So for our personal leader, we did Brent Wilson, and he's the Senior Vice President of Global Supply Chain Operations. So, and if you don't know what global supply chain operations is, it's basically the manufacturing and the logistics of semiconductors, which are just essential chips that will go in your computer and then conduct electricity and run your computer processors. So those are really important parts, and it's an ever-growing industry. So before he came, actually, it was basically transactional leadership, but since after he's came, he's actually applied a transformational leadership to the supply chain organization. And by doing this, he inspires the followers, who are the employees, by setting a strong role model, like just being around him. He gives off that sort of aura of a good leader. And he considers each like specific unique situation really, really well. So like there's no like one wrong or right answer. He takes a more personalized approach to these things. And then also he understands the market really, really well because he's actually lived in China where the stuff is manufactured, where most of the factories are. So he understands that Chinese culture and American culture differs quite a bit. So he understands the nuances of these, and then he applies them and adapts them for his team, which is in the global supply chain operations. But then he also adapts them when they sell these products and ship them to the American customers. And so he's also displays a charismatic leadership with inspirational motivation, and he intellectually stimulates followers. And he does that by he sets a broad but clear vision, and he expects his followers to achieve that. So by doing that, he allows the followers or the employees to create these really unique solutions to solve these logistical problems. Because in this example, in the semiconductor industry, they ship about like I think 1 billion wafers around the world. So sometimes product gets stuck. Sometimes customers call, they don't know where the thing went. So there's a lot going behind the scenes. So then, and also another thing he does is he bridges gaps between technical and conceptual. So he actually wants to reduce the gap because a lot of times people on the higher up side they understand the vision, but they don't like really understand like the special softwares that are being used or the manufacturing methods or like how the machines operate on it. And then on the flip side, the people with the technical skills, he wants them to learn what the visions of the company are, and he wants to align them with that. So he operates So he has like a really nice training program in session for technical employees to learn conceptual skills from higher ups in the organization.
Our third and final business leader is actually Jeff Bezos, who is the founder and CEO of Amazon. He demonstrates servant leadership because he always puts his customers first. Ever since he first started Amazon, it's always been customer first. And so through that, he shows high emotional intelligence and listening and awareness skills, because he's always aware with what's going on in the world and how that might affect his customers and how best he can provide for them. When he first started Amazon, it was supposed to be just like a book and music service. And he surveyed about 1,000 of his customers and asked what is something they would buy. And of course, they all started saying stuff in the moment. So that started to get him thinking on what to create and oh my goodness, on what to create and how he can provide those materials for those like in the moment purchases for his customers. And he also shows charismatic leadership in his mission statement. It's been the same mission for about 20 years now. It has not changed. It has not been edited. And it's, of course, comparts of a 3-part list. And it uses "our" and "we" nouns or pronouns. But I've seen a few of his interviews on YouTube, and he always uses hand gestures when he's public speaking, and he's telling a funny story, and he's using rhetorical questions. And even though the person asks him the question, he turns to the audience and speaks to them. He answers to the audience. And it really shows, like, just in his work and in interviews, what kind of a leader he is. And these are our references. Okay.